Hey there, and welcome to That's Audacious, where we share entrepreneurial stories from amazing leaders to inspire and motivate you to be bold, brave, and audacious. I'm your host, Lauren Clemett, the brand navigator, here to share stories that will make you say, well, that's audacious. Hello and welcome to another episode of That's Audacious, an incredible podcast where we interview quite extraordinary people actually and find out what goes on and why they're doing what they're doing, but more importantly, the impact that they're making. Today we have the fabulous, I'm so excited about this, Maggie Miller, all the way from the USA. And we are going to be talking with her all about her journey with awards, because Maggie served as the communications manager at the Stevie Awards for about 6 years before she was appointed president in 2019. And in her current role, she wears many hats, incredible, as every woman in business does, multitasking with incredible ease and efficiency. She oversees the marketing, the judging, the events, the HR, and so much more, while working closely with the talented team at all 9 Stevie platforms. It's just unbelievable. 9. I think they're insane. Maggie, it's wonderful to have you here on the podcast. Please tell us a little bit about your background and how you got involved with the Stevie Awards. I know we've got some really fun stories to share about how it all came about, but I'd love to know from your point of view, what do you do with the Stevies and how did that all happen?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Lauren. I'm Maggie, as Lauren mentioned. I'm the president of the Stevie Awards. My dad actually founded the Stevie Awards in 2002. Michael Gallagher, he had a background in television awards. He worked in New York City for many years, and then he pivoted kind of to more traditional marketing and was involved in, the whole .com time. And then he was really thinking about it and was like, why are there not more awards for people like me? I put in many hours a week. I work hard. I'm creative. What can I do to honor people like me? And that's how the Stevie Awards got started. So I kind of grew up, around the Stevie Awards. I saw my dad we just started with the American Business Awards back in 2002. And, Lauren, you're based in Australia. Obviously, our programs have grown a ton since then. Now we have 9 programs, each with their own focus, either geographically or industry-based. We're going to talk a lot about the Stevie Awards for Women in Business today that just opened for the 22nd annual program. And a funny story about the name. So actually my dad's dad, his name was Steven. So that was kind of a nice way to incorporate that. But Stevie also means crowned in Greek. But the Stevie Awards was started when I was 10 years old and I saw a baby book name on the coffee table. And I was like, am I getting another sibling? I don't necessarily want one. And then, after a few weeks, my dad was like, no, I'm starting this business awards company. And, we've chosen a name and I think it's the perfect fit. So yeah, we have 9 award competitions. We have a ton of staff here in the US and consultants abroad and representatives abroad to kind of, reach different markets, see what categories are most interesting to people around the world and where they want to be honored, what for and why. So, we try to keep up to date with business trends, industry trends, and incorporate that into our programs every year.
Yeah, I love it. I love the OG story behind the Stevies. It's such a cute little idea of you as a 10-year-old going, oh, I'm going to get a brother or sister.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, no.
You're getting a long-term job instead with me in the Stevie Awards.
Yeah. So, awarding people was more, better for me, even as a 10-year-old, and great now. It's, such a rewarding job to be able to, work with people that are happy to enter the programs and win every single year. Even if people are not selected as a winner, we send them an email saying, hey, please review the judges' comments to see why you weren't selected. And we allow them to enter another program that year with the same, or not the same entry, but, similar category at no charge. So we really try to encourage people to find where they can improve and re-enter.
It's something about the Stevies that we love at the Audacious Agency is the fact that you get the judges' feedback. So many awards out there don't do that.
Yeah.
And is that something you've always done, or is it something you've started to do as you progressed?
I know as I joined in 2013 and we did it then, but I'll have to ask Michael if we did it before, because I've heard similar comments, like many other awards programs around the world don't give that feedback. So I have to imagine as an entrant, that's kind of confusing. Like, how, why did I win? Why didn't I?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
love the fact that the Stevies are so supportive in the fact that when you get that feedback, it's improving what you're doing. It's giving you an insight into how you can get better with your entries. But also the fact that if you didn't win, hey, let's get you a chance to get into another one of our 9 programs for no charge, because you've already paid the entry fee and you weren't successful. Let's not just go, oh, too hard, too bad, too sad. Let's help encourage you, because I find, I'm sure you're the same, Maggie, some of the people win awards for the most extraordinary things. I know with Stevie Awards you can win awards just for a concept. You don't have to have implemented that concept, but as long as it's something that's impactful and you've put forward a really good argument in your entry, your chance of being recognized with the Stevies, as long as you're creating that impact, as long as you're creating and you're obviously communicating it well in your entry, are really good. And you offer so much support. The Stevies have a huge amount of leverage that you provide for people.
Yes. Yeah. We've started hosting webinars for each of our programs, just for anyone who's interested. We share, what is this program about? And then, what we say, tips to, hopefully win a Stevie, what to include, what type of attachments, what are the judges looking for? And like you mentioned, the judges really are looking for the impact. It's one thing if you've come up with a great concept, but how is this affecting your employees, your customers, your stakeholders? The judges do want to hear the real world impact. So that's what we share during the webinars, and we try to share it, in our entry kit materials to be as clear as possible too.
Yeah, your entry kits are extraordinary. I think the fact that you give so much information, not only, hey, here's all the categories and here's your dates and so on, but you just give so much advice, and the webinars and everything else you have are phenomenal. Now, not many people around the world have known about the Stevies, probably, I would say, up until about the last maybe 5 or 10 years. Whereas in the States, they are known as probably the most integral awards. They're like the Oscars of business awards. So are you seeing a change with that, obviously, as time goes on, that slowly people around the world are starting to recognize them as well?
Yes, I think so. We really have awards categories for businesses of all sizes, and the majority of our winners are small to mid-size organizations. But, we do have a decent amount of huge organizations like DHL, IBM, Toyota, organizations like those that win Stevies. And I think just those bigger name winners can sometimes bring awareness to the Stevie Awards, which is great. But we do try to honor organizations of all types, sizes, for-profit, nonprofit. Really everyone, want to give them the opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's been a core value for some of our clients who've won maybe bronze or a silver in the same category as Google. I mean, that's big for a small business, especially if you're starting up, growing your awareness, which is very cool. So the Stevies not only has a huge amount of integrity, you've got judging panels, you've got everything that a good awards program requires. You also provide an incredible amount of leverage, and the fact that you're rubbing shoulders with some pretty big brands. Just that branding by association is pretty awesome, isn't it? How have you done that over the years? How have you managed to make the Stevies one of the awards that everybody wants to win around the world?
I think, like you mentioned earlier, we really just uphold all of our values and our integrity. We really have not changed the program much over the years. We've, kind of shortened the entry kit, but as far as, the rules, they've stayed the same for the past 23, 24 years. We've changed some of our programs to, instead of a short essay, you have to answer a set of questions. We've allowed video entries instead, but we've really kept the award process the exact same because we know how to manage it. We review every single entry that comes in. We make sure it's in the correct category. If it's not, we will contact you and ask you if we can change it. And our judging, we're very strict at selecting judges who have a ton of experience. We get thousands of applications per year to be judges, which is great, but we want to limit it to a few hundred per program so we can actively manage all the judges. We review every comment that goes to entrance. So it's a very serious process, and I think we've gotten it down to a science, which is great because we do have the 9 awards competitions. So I would say, just keeping our same values we've had since day one.
It's full on. I can imagine as president of the Stevies, there's not a lot of rest that happens in your life.
Yeah. Yes. And, a lot of people say, oh, who's your, what winner is your favorite? I'm like, kind of, as a president, I am, kind of a I'm non-biased. I read entries, but it's not my job to review and pick favorites and say who's the best. That's the judge's job. I'm here to organize and make sure everything's a fair and wonderful process for our entrants and winners.
Yeah, brilliant. And you also, I think the Stevies have one of the best awards events as well. They're so well run. They're professionally set up. Again, it's that leverage. It's not just the fact that you've won an award. And look, the trophy's fantastic. It's tangible. The fact you can lay hands on recognition is brilliant. But the fact that you also provide professional video, you do a media interview afterwards, there's professional photographs, and it's all included in your ticket to go to the gala dinner. It's not like there's plus, whereas there's lots of awards out there that they say, oh, free entry, but then there's all plus afterwards.
Yes, we are proud that we offer award ceremonies every year. All 9 of our awards programs get a ceremony. We've recently combined the German Stevie Awards and the International Business Awards ceremony into one, and the Great Employers and Technology Excellence together. But the rest have their own ceremony. Great photos, great networking, so much fun. You receive all of your awards there. And like you mentioned, there really are no additional costs. Say someone does pay to enter, they don't want to come to the ceremony, they don't even want to have their award shipped, that's fine. You're still a Stevie winner. You're still on our website. You're going to be in our historical database forever. We really do have no hidden costs or add-ons. The winner package is free with the logos, which I think is, other organizations charge for that as well. So easy, fun, the ceremony's fun, but you don't have to come.
Yeah, I love it. And it's all about leverage, isn't it? It's about, okay, this is great, you've done the work, now let's leverage it. And the things, I mean, you have press releases you provide, you've got a LinkedIn group that you can become an alumni of, and you can keep those going. There's so much that Stevie's offer, which is just brilliant. Now, Maggie, I'm going to get personal next. What is it like to work in an organization where your dad was the founder? Michael's the person everybody knows, and here's his daughter working with him. I know my daughter works with me, so I'd love to hear from you what it's been like having that family association with what you do as well.
It's kind of funny because I studied communications and PR in college, and when I was graduating, I was like, I knew my dad would love to work with me, but I was like, I think I gotta, do my own thing, go my own way. And I did my first job selling apartments, basically, and it was not what I expected. I was kind of a glorified receptionist. It wasn't really sales. And then the Stevie Awards marketing person ended up moving. So Michael, my dad, was like, Maggie, why don't you come with the Stevie Awards? I was like, yes. And, that's the best decision of my life, I would say. Maybe besides marrying my husband, but yeah, best decision of my life. I love it. There was only 3 Stevie employees when I started, and now we're up to 15. I do all of the hiring. I meet with all of our employees, at least weekly. It's just great to be, so involved and see how much the Stevie Awards has grown over the years.
Brilliant. I love it. You are listening to the That's Audacious podcast. If you want to hear more like this, there are plenty of other episodes on all your favorite channels, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Maggie, let's talk a little bit more about what is one of my favorite programs with the Stevie Awards, the Stevie Awards for Women in Business, which we come to New York every year to celebrate and bring women with us to that, which is just extraordinary. What do you think it is about the women's? I mean, there's lots of men out there going, so there's no men awards. Why are there women awards? Why do you think we need awards for women?
We got asked that during our judges meeting last year by a man. And I was like, women, we've had to come so far. We were not given the opportunity to work, to have a credit card, to have our own checking account until somewhat recently. So in my opinion, that's why women need their own categories of awards. We're not on 100% playing field yet. We still don't make as much as men. So I think these awards are much needed. And Lauren, as you and I were discussing before, the award ceremony for the Women in Business program is the best. The speeches are remarkable. The networking, so many friendships and actually businesses are born from the award ceremony. People connect, lifelong, friendships, relationships have grown. So yeah, pretty much all of us at the Stevie Awards, it's our favorite program, and it did just open for entries. So if anyone's interested, there's plenty of time to review categories and submit nominations.
Yeah, and there's some awesome categories as well. There's categories for books and podcasts and lifetime achievement and Maverick, and there's it's worth checking out absolutely for a woman in business. The Stevie Awards have got to be on your radar. What do you think it is that stops so many women from getting out there and pushing out into that realm of being recognised as an award winner? What holds them back, do you think?
I think a lot of people, and women in particular, think their accomplishments aren't good enough or aren't award worthy. But something special about our website, we do post most of the gold winning nominations on our website from the prior year. So, maybe you did something that you think is just, okay or decent. But if you want to check out some of the gold winners and categories you're interested in, you can say, hey, maybe my accomplishment is, award worthy. And, our requirements are not lengthy. We ask for, a few hundred words and supporting attachments. It doesn't have to take you a year to write. You can also hire a consultancy to help you if, that's something that you want to do. So yeah, I would say that's the main barrier, or just, not knowing what award opportunities are out there.
Yeah, the time issue is a huge part of it, isn't it? I mean, for a mum, so it's like, when on earth have I got...
the extra step, the extra effort.
Yeah, I'm having to run a business, I'm having to do all these things, or I'm in a role where I've got this responsibility, and by the way, you've got to write this and you've got to find this information. And I think women also, we tend to be focused on what's next, rather than reflecting on where we've
looking back. That's true. Yeah, and our award program does allow for up to the prior 2 years of achievement. So it is, taking a look back, but it's also nice to reflect. What have I done the past 2 years? That's special. Yeah.
It's like seeing a child grow, isn't it? You don't notice it because you're around.
Yeah, I know.
Time.
Yeah, us 2 years ago, we were different. Yeah.
Now you've got a toddler running around the house, so that's really exciting.
Yes, 2 years ago he was not here.
So, Maggie, we've seen interesting challenges over the past couple of decades. We've had COVID, we've had awards having to go online with their ceremonies and so on. Have you seen any real massive changes or fluctuations, or has it just been a steady growth? What's been happening in terms of participation in the Stevie Awards?
During COVID, the initial year entries were down, which was very understandable. People they don't have a budget, their work situation wasn't normal. But then we introduced COVID-19 categories to recognize those who were, making their workplace, either remote or hybrid, or doing something special during COVID. And then we saw entries really, really boost again. So that was great. And kind of an interesting trend now is with AI. Entrants use it, and we haven't officially banned it. If people want to use AI to kind of get their entry started, we think that's great, but we have fully banned it from our judging practices.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It is an interesting time, isn't it? With people are going to use AI, aren't they? I mean, you can't say, "Oh, don't." But you're right. The ability to use it as more of an intern,
maybe
or
a starting point,
or all that sort of thing would be ideal. But write your entries, people.
Yes, we held a webinar for Technology Excellence, and one of the speakers was the founder of Boost Awards, and they had kind of have a database of every awards program, and they did the big survey, and the judges that they surveyed said, we can definitely tell when you use AI to write it, and it does impact scores.
Yeah. Be a human. Be a human. Have your humanity come through your award entry. Are there any other tips or advice you might give people around leveraging awards as well? Because I know the Stevies do this really well, and they provide so many resources for people. But we find, our research shows 80% of award winners do virtually nothing. They might win the award, they'll go along and get a photograph, and that's it. They may put it on their website. How should people be approaching the idea of not just winning, but leveraging an award? Do you, Maggie?
Yeah, Michael uses the analogy of, your award could, it's like a hammer. If your hammer is just hanging in the tool shed, it's not going to do anything. If you're using your hammer to build a house, that you're going to get a house. We issue our own press release about winners and have winners on our website and in our database, but, we encourage winners to do all of their own press as well. Please issue your own press release, put it on your social pages. Maybe you want to run some ads. Maybe, you want to put the Stevie logo on your website and your email signature and your LinkedIn banner. It doesn't have to be hard or expensive. We're sending the free resources. So, really, however they can get on maybe the local news, or any sort of online press is great.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? It's leveraging the free resources that you get included in the studies, which is the real key thing. And I know a lot of our fabulous winners appear on your marketing, which is awesome. Every time something comes up promoting a webinar or something and they're on it, it's like, you've just featured again. So it's
I should have mentioned that. Yeah, we always feature winners on our social media pages, newsletters, blog. We send out a form to every winner asking if they'd like to be featured, and just provide us with some information and a photo, and we share all of them at some point.
Yeah, brilliant. That's fabulous. Now, Maggie, to wrap up our interview, because we are right at the end, is there anything you'd like to share if somebody's watching this and going, oh, I hadn't thought about awards, or I've heard about the Stevies? What would be something you might advise them to do to get started?
I would say first, think about what you'd like to be recognized for. We have so many categories and different award programs. So say you're interested in the Stevie Awards for Women in Business. Are you interested in nominating yourself? We do encourage that. Would you like to nominate, your entire organization, or, a specific achievement? So first think about that, and then just look at the requirements. And they're really, not that deep. You could probably spend, I don't know, 8 hours finishing it over, a few months. With plenty of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting yourself time, that's a big cool part of it, because you can tell when an award's been rushed, can't you, as well? So
and we do get a lot of entries on the very last the final entry deadline, which is fine. We prepare the judges. It's human nature to wait, but we just opened the program last week, May 13th, so there's so much time.
Get in there early, and pencil in. I think it's the 10th of November is the date for the Stevie Awards for Women in Business Gala dinner in New York. So we're really excited about that. So pencil that into your diary, because we're going to be there, and we'd love to celebrate with you if you're coming to those. Now, before we finish up, we always ask the same question of all of our guests. Maggie, if you could go back in time to any point in your life and give yourself some advice, could be personal advice, could be business advice, whatever advice, what would you tell yourself?
Oh, I think, well, maybe from my youth, it would have been high school. I would have said, don't play so many sports. I feel like I was exhausted and my grades suffered. I had like a 4.0 when I quit sports. And then maybe adulthood. I mean, I've been happy with how things panned out. Maybe buy real estate earlier before 2021, and maybe study business in my undergrad instead of communications. My communications was useful too. Yeah.
But you've ended up pretty good. I mean, in reality, as president of one of the largest and the OG of business awards, you've done pretty well. And I think you're doing an extraordinary job with so much that you do. So if you're listening to this, go and have a look at the Stevie Awards. If you're interested in being a Stevie Awards judge, that comes with great honour and recognition as well. So have a look at that too. Get in touch with us or with the Stevies to find out more. It's been so fabulous to catch up with you, Maggie. I really appreciate your time on the podcast. And I really think there is some value in looking at what are the little things that you've done in your life, in your business, in your world, that you can go, you know what, I need to be recognized for that. Because the Stevie Awards sounds really weird. They're one of the biggest, most outstanding, most well-known business awards in the world. And yet they're often the best starting place, because they do so much to support you with your entries and getting into them. So instead of thinking, oh, I'll just dip my toe in the water and go with those local awards down the road, which I think are actually harder to win than the international awards, because there's lots of locally, and people know people, whereas with the international awards like the Stevies, you have this independent panel of judges that are looking at your entry, which is awesome.
And the judges are international as well, so you're really getting a worldwide perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you do a fabulous job of running the judging side of things with your platform and your process, and the fact you have judging chairs and panels that look after that as well. It's just, it's so integral, and it's got so much honesty and transparency. It's brilliant. So love it.
Thank you so much. Oh, I also wanted to share, we are getting a brand new Stevie Awards website in the coming months, so it should be even easier. All of our awards programs will now be on one website, and you can just toggle. So
Oh, brilliant.
It'll be much improved.
So you also have one login and you can enter all of the
Yes,
different
that's
programs in
correct.
one login? Yeah, brilliant.
Yes. Yeah, and it's same for entrants and judges, just one login.
Oh, brilliant. Our production manager will be overjoyed to hear that. So
Yes. Yeah, it's getting easier.
absolutely. Look, there's no excuse anymore, guys.
Right. Yeah, just one login. Yeah.
That's so awesome. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Maggie, for being on the podcast. We look forward to seeing you in November, and I hope you have the rest of the week is fabulous for you. Thank you. Any final words to encourage people to just, in reality, get involved in awards?
Yeah, I would say, think about what makes you special, either you, your organization, your team, your specific accomplishment. I think many women and people are, more special than they give themselves credit for. Just take a look inwards, like we said, past 2 years, what have you achieved? And then check out our categories. And, Stevie Awards, an international award. A lot of people will recognize it. Kind of brag on yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Get out there and don't hold back. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maggie. It's awesome to chat to you. It's been so good. And get into the Stevie Awards, guys. They're worth looking at.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thanks so much for listening to the That's Audacious podcast. Remember, there's no place for modesty in business, and you do deserve to be well known, well paid, and wanted. For more episodes, please subscribe to the podcast on your favourite channel or follow us online. The links are in the description below.